It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. Levi Clay here, back to do another listening party, this time looking at Ozzy Osbourne's eighth studio album. Wow, Down to Earth. So, yeah, probably widely regarded as not one of Ozzy's better albums, and I totally understand that perception. This is getting on late in his career, right? I say that, it's 19 years later he released another album, so what can I really say? Born in December 1948, so this album will have been he was 53, so not that bad, or 52 I would imagine when this was recorded. So not the worst, not certainly not the oldest that he could have been. Like I said, 20 years later, he's still releasing albums. So, it is what it is. Anyway, let's take a look at some comments that we already have. So, Joe Clifford, he's offended by this idea. No, fuck no. It's formulaic cash. It's bullshit. I'd say Ozzy's involvement was, yes, Sharon, I will sing this shit for you. And they auto-tuned the life out of it. Joe says he's old enough to be a big fan back in the day and certainly old enough to be grumpy about this stuff. Levi, I like what you do and keep it up. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate that you like what I do. I have to say, whenever I read a comment like that I can't help but think, Joe, what's your favourite song on this album? And the reason I ask that is, of course, it's a simple one, right? It's easy to look at an artist's later albums and say, that was rubbish, it's not as good as the old stuff. Yeah. Okay, boomer is what I say to things like that, right? It is entirely possible that an artist's later albums are good. It is entirely possible. The only way that I would take your criticisms, the only way I take a criticism of this album seriously is, well, one, you've done the listening party stream with me, obviously, and two would be if you can tell me what the bad songs are on the album, why you don't like it. You know what I mean? It gets Joe through. I like it. I like what you did there, Dylan. Right. Yeah, so like I say, not the best album, but, not the worst. Also, let's do... Oh, well, we've got some comments coming in. Richard Henry, how's it going, man? King is online. Dylan, appreciate your input, guys. Yeah, of course, we are in the midst of quarantine time, so what a great way to spend some of your time in isolation than to sit here and listen to an album with me. So do that. And if you enjoy these streams, feels like I'm posing. I'm doing the cover of Down to Earth. That arm should be higher. Okay. So, yeah, if you do enjoy these streams, if you like these things that I'm doing, then please, it's a big help. Share them on Facebook, share them on Reddit, share them on Twitter. Get them out there. The more people that engage in these in the listening party streams, the more fun they are. So, yeah, if you are here, if you are watching, please do drop a comment. I love reading them, love engaging with you guys. That is what makes these streams sensible. Of course, big thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. In fact, some of these guys have had to drop out, obviously, because of COVID-19. Lots of... Is it 19? Coronavirus. Let's go with that. Yeah, so a few people have had to drop. But, you do what you need to do in these testing, trying times. Everybody's struggling, and I totally understand that. But I really do appreciate the people that have stuck around. So thank you very much for your kindness and support. If that doesn't appeal to you, you can check out one of my books on Amazon while Amazon is still posting books to people. Have a look for Levi Clay. Of course, you can get these in PDF format. So if you are going to be stuck, in your house for 3 weeks and you want to learn some shit hot country licks or some slide licks, boy, do I have a book for you. Probably my latest one, 100 Slide Licks for Blues Guitar. Check it out. I'm sure you will enjoy it. Right. Muzzy Muzz is online. How's it going, man? How's it going? I have to say, thank you so much to everybody that tuned into the spontaneous birthday stream I did for my wife Hayley, on Monday. It was her birthday yesterday. And just on the evening on the Monday evening, we decided, well, I suggested that we did a live stream. And she hates the idea of being on my YouTube channel, just being on the internet in general, because she thinks people will be mean to her. She's used to the idea of the internet being full of people that are very mean. And none of you guys are mean. You guys are all absolutely awesome. You're very kind to her. She had a great time. And yeah, now she's considering doing more. So if you enjoyed it, if you did enjoy the appearance of Mrs. Hayley Clay, I would recommend that you leave your comments and let her know you enjoyed her, because it's easier to get her back when she knows that she's been appreciated. So Right. Tam Mac says, I stopped listening to Ozzy after Blizzard of Oz. Wow, Jesus. Which you think was his last good album, but still fun tuning into these streams in this time of gloom. Tam. I don't mean to be disrespectful. It is not my intention to be rude, but you're an idiot. What do you mean Blizzard of Oz was his last good album? Diary of a Madman is better than Blizzard of Oz in every way, shape, and form. It's infinitely better than Blizzard of Oz. So yeah, well done, sir. You have so far posted the stupidest comment, but thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. It's good to see you again, mate. Pete Hawthorne, how's it going? Yay, finally made it to one of these awesome live streams, and it's an album I don't like. Well, Pete, the hope is that at the end of this stream, maybe you will like the album. Maybe, well, you know what? I promise this. If you don't like the album, then you'll be able to share in your hatred of the album with other people. You will be able to discuss and talk about not just go, it's a shitty album, but you'll be able to confidently say, I don't like that album because, and you'll be able to, talk about it. And I think that's kind of cool, right? Dylan, dude, your wife was lovely. Definitely would be cool to see her more Scottish takeover on Levi's channel. I mean, it's very easy. I just walk outside my front door and the Scottish are everywhere. So, yeah, I've got a Guitar Souls podcast that I need to edit with Mike. Well, not with Mike. It's the Guitar Souls with Mike. He doesn't edit it with me. So hopefully that'll be up tomorrow. Very, very busy with some transcription jobs at the moment. And, right now, with all of this coronavirus thing, I have to take every last bit of work that comes my way because my Patreon is down. Book sales are down about 20%. So yeah, that's mad. That's mad. So work is important. So I'm working my ass off. I'm going to do what I can. So Pete, hey Levi, do you think that you may do a live stream with something like Racer X's Second Heat? That would be a phenomenal breakdown. Absolutely, Pete. I really love these listening party streams, and depending on how popular they become, it's one of those things, right? We've currently got like 22 people watching this live. That's fine. After the fact, the stream I did with my wife, that got 1,000 odd views. If people start to understand the format, understand these listening streams and enjoy them, and more people get involved in them, then I can kind of justify spending more time doing them, right? So what I would say to you, if you want Racer X, get more people watching these streams. I'm up for doing Racer X. I want to go through some classic albums, but I also want to go through some catalogues of albums. I love the idea of going through like all of the Megadeth albums and all the Racer X albums, and I could listen to some jazz. Like I could listen to albums that I've never heard before, like genuine. You guys could make suggestions and say, Levi, this is one of my favourite albums. I want to listen to it with you. Let's listen to it together and have a good time. I'm super up for all of that type of stuff. But as usual, it requires your support. So spread the word, and we'll get these types of things going. Now, as I've said to anyone that has seen one of these streams before, I will not be streaming Ozzy's music on this stream because that would not be fair use, would it? But if you go to the link in the description, you can find this album on Spotify or use your streaming app of choice, or maybe you own it on CD like I do, and you can listen along with us and we can talk about the music as it happens. So please check that link out. Go and check it out. Joe's back. It's on Spotify right now, and I did listen to the single when it came out. Hold on, what was worse? What? There were a couple of singles on this album. I remember them. Dreamer was a single. Gets Me Through was a single. There's a couple of songs on this I actually do like, though. Definitely a couple of songs on this I do like, but we'll come to those. Blue Note Chick. Hey Levi, thanks for these streams. Have enjoyed them a lot. Despite Jake being my favourite Ozzy guitarist, I've discovered that Diary is my favourite Ozzy era album, with No Rest being a close second. That's really fucking cool, man. I really I think that's really fucking cool that ideas and opinions and perceptions can change like that. I actually thought that Bark at the Moon was one of my favourite Ozzy albums, and it's easily my least favourite Ozzy album now. So, yeah. And I don't think I ever would have listened to that album as objectively as I have without you guys kind of doing these with me. So, right. I'm going to take a little bit of time to read about the album on Wikipedia, talk to you about it, and that will give you guys an opportunity to share this stream. So, as you can tell, it's a big push today to try and get a few more people watching because, as I keep saying, these streams are much more fun when there's more people involved in them. So, yeah. Right, so looking at Down to Earth, the Ozzy Osbourne album on Wikipedia. Down to Earth is the 8th studio album by British heavy metal vocalist Ozzy Osbourne. Released on the 16th of October 2001, it reached number 19 on the UK albums chart and number 4 on the US Billboard 200. The Ozfest was doing well, Osbourne explained. I just wanted it to be like the Grateful Dead and keep it on touring, but the record company said they'd like a new Ozzy album. Okay, cool, fair enough. Down to Earth spawned just 2 singles, although both reached the top 10 in the US Hot Mainstream Rock Tracks chart and reached number 18 on the UK singles charts. Excluding his contributions to re-recordings of Ozzy's earlier material, Down to Earth is the only Osbourne studio album to feature bassist Robert Trujillo, who left to join Metallica in 2003. It was the first Osbourne album to feature drummer Mike Bordin, previously of Faith No More, though he had played live with Osbourne since 1996. Though he plays on the album, guitarist Zakk Wylde did not contribute as a songwriter for the first time since joining Osbourne's band in 1988, because many of the songs were written before Wylde rejoined the band. Osbourne's previous guitarist, Joe Holmes, was involved in the writing, and Osbourne chose to use outside songwriters such as producer Tim Palmer and Aerosmith collaborator Marty Fredrickson. We've got a quote here. Working with Tim on this album reminded me of Randy Rhoads, Ozzy remarked of Palmer. If it hadn't been for him, there wouldn't have been an album. He has an incredible patience, just like Randy. So that's cool. That's all the the information we have on this album. I didn't actually realise that Zakk Wylde didn't have any writing credit on this album, because of course this will have been the first Ozzy album post Black Label Society being a thing. And let me just do the year on that. So this is 2001. I know Sonic Brew, which was the first Black Label Society album, came out in 1999, I think. I say I know. Yeah, 1999. Stronger Than Death came out in 2000. So this will have been between Stronger Than Death and 1990 Eternal. So this is very early on in Black Label Society. And of course, it's hard to make reference of this album, Down to Earth, without referencing the fabulous Live at Budokan. The Live at Budokan DVD or concert video is an excellent watch, filmed at the Budokan in Japan, featuring Zakk Wylde, Robert Trujillo, Mike Bordin, and Ozzy Osbourne. And I forget who plays keyboards on it. Who plays keyboards on that? Anyway, it's worth a view. It's got a couple of songs from this album on it, but aside from that, it's just an excellent performance from Zakk Wylde and Robert Trujillo. And Mike Bordin plays fine, and Ozzy does an Ozzy. Right, so let's read some of these comments. Okay, I forgot about. All right, Tam, he's learned. Okay, I forgot about Diary of a Madman. How about doing the first Sabbath to end this series for comparison, just for the hell of it? Yeah, I'm up for that idea. You know what, Tam? I might actually hold off on doing the first Sabbath album for Zakk Wylde to release the Zakk Sabbath cover album. They're going to do a cover album of the first Black Sabbath album. I think it would be kind of cool to do both of them at the same time. Listen to Black Sabbath, then listen to Zakk Wylde doing his thing. So yeah. King, these streams are getting me to listen to albums I'd never heard before. I knew most of Ozzy's hits, but I had never gotten around to listening to his albums. Cool, man. I think there's some good moments on this album. I am honestly surprised to hear that Zakk didn't contribute any writing to it, because there's definitely a few Zakk moments on this album. Caesar Madrigal. This is a great album. I have it and always love it when I listen to it. Like I said, I think it's got some good moments on it. So if I look at the track list, and Gets Me Through, Facing Hell, Dreamer, No Easy Way Out, That I Never Had, Junkie, Running Out of Time, Black Illusion, Alive, Can You Hear Them? It Gets Me Through is a very simple song. Sure, fine, I can live with it. Facing Hell's not that bad. Dream is your classic ballad. No Easy Way Out is okay. That I Never Had, I quite like that song. Junkie, I quite like that song. I don't remember Running Out of Time, I don't remember. Black Illusion, I don't remember. Alive, I don't remember. Can You Hear Them, I don't remember. I'll be honest, it's been many years since I've listened to this album. Like I say, Gets Me Through and Dreamer were the singles from the album. Let me just take a quick look at the info that we have for those. Gets Me Through, first track from 2001, Down to Earth, Ozzy Osbourne. He thanks his fans and attempts to set the record straight that his stage persona is precisely that and nothing more, stating, I am not the Antichrist or the Iron Man. Let's not pretend that Ozzy Osbourne wrote the lyrics to this, shall we? Apparently, there are two versions of the videos. The first one was banned from MTV due to its pictures of flames, destruction, and a room of pigeons being killed and bleeding to death after the terrorist attack on September 11, 2001. Osbourne made a cut version of the video, removing most of the flames and destruction, as well as the pigeon scene. Though a clip featuring a television set exploding was still kept in. And then Dreamer. Now, this was a much slower, ballady song. Third track from Down to Earth, released on the 16th of October 2001, single peaked at number 10. Song describes the rock star's vision of people and humanity destroying Earth. In the liner notes to Osbourne's Prince of Darkness box set, Ozzy refers to this song as his version of John Lennon's Imagine. Didn't you do that on your first solo album with the song Revelation, Mother Earth? Anyway. Let's have a look. Cowcat. Zach was pissed off, arguing with the producer about the need of a Telecaster sound in some part. And Zach saying it's a Les Paul and a fucking Marshall, dude. Citation needed. Right, I think that's all we're going to have to say on this one. So if you are ready, if you would like to head on over to Spotify. Shit, where is my Spotify? I had this loaded. It's gone. It's just gone. I need to reload it. Sorry. Give me a second. There we go. Down to Earth. Listed on Spotify. I'm going to make myself bigger. And I'm going to do my best to keep myself up on screen for as much of this as possible. Just so if anyone is watching along after the fact, they'll be able to go to where we are on the album. They'll be able to, if for any reason there are ads or anything like that, you'll be able to relocate where you are on the stream. Okay? Make sense? Right, so as usual, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do it one last time. Again, this is never has there been a bigger time for me to say thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. We are in very testing and trying times financially right now. Us self-employed people are really, really fucking struggling. So you guys are making my life a little bit easier. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. And if you would like to check out one of my books on Amazon, please do have a look for Levi Clay. I've got a lot of books. I'm sure you may find one that you enjoy. What have we got here? Evan Bradley says, I've also listened to this, also haven't listened to this album in a long time. From memory, That I Never Had has the coolest riff on the album. Consistently mediocre is how I'd describe this album. Pete Hawthorne, I remember when this album came out and it was, and was so into melodic speedy power metal and 80s stuff, I initially snubbed it off. I've not listened to it since. Will be interesting to hear it again now. Yeah. Exactly, man. Exactly. I don't think this is going to be high on my list of Ozzy albums, favourite Ozzy albums. I don't, okay? And for anyone keeping score, so far, we have Diary of a Madman. I do still keep Diary at the top. Diary of a Madman, for me. Osmosis. No More Tears. Blizzard of Oz. No Rest for the Wicked. The Ultimate Sin. Bark at the Moon. I think this album has the potential to be higher up than Bark at the Moon. In fact, I'd be very surprised if it's not higher up than Bark at the Moon. And I think it could even rank a little bit higher than The Ultimate Sin. For me, it could do. But we will see. So, I am going to begin playing this in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, super compressed piano. This riff that comes in a second, like I'm surprised to hear this isn't a Zakk Wylde riff because it's it's Neanderthal in its nature, but cool riff. That's actually quite cool because there's a harmony on the guitar. Don't like that kind of mix choice there, arrangement choice, the guitar tone change. You got the keyboards now that are quite cool, right? I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. Proper organ sound. Not just a keyboard part, but an organ part. Let me focus on those vocals. Vocal harmony, yeah. Just again. It's not, vocal wise, when we talk about when we talk about the last album, Osmosis, which I think is Ozzy's best vocal performance, this is nowhere near as good. Tell me one Ozzy. Joe! Tell me one Ozzy album that's better. Sorry, that's worse than Bark at the Moon. Paul, there is a link in the description for you to check this out on Spotify. I can't play Ozzy's music over a stream. So Zach should have come into his own now, right? He's full on Black Label Society, 2 albums of Black Label. All right, you might have me there, Joe, but I can't make that decision yet because I've not listened to this album in a long time. Awesome. Thanks for joining, Paul. I genuinely think Bark at the Moon is a bad album. It was my favourite album growing up, but listening back to it for these streams, there's only 2 good songs on it. It's way too many ballads, obnoxious keyboard parts. I hope you never stop, cause it gets me through, yeah. Very odd vocal harmonies, but kind of cool. I like this part. I'm just trying to live, yeah. I'm just trying to live, yeah. I'm just trying to live, yeah. That's quite cool. Cool little vocal harmony thing. I know what you mean. Well, I think it's less the rhythm sound to me, Richard. It's more. It's hard for it to sound like Zach because it's single note stuff. Zach tends to play either really low tuned at this in this period in his career, like drop B usually, but this isn't that low. So it's single note stuff. It's not really Zach during this era of his career was like wall of sound stuff. So that's very un-Zach. But the guitar tone for the lead stuff totally different to how it was on Osmosis. That album is just full of chorus. That's a little keyboard part. Some production tricks. A filter sweep on that. Yeah, of course this isn't a Zach Wild riff. Oh, but with the pinch on there, yeah. Gotta love the pinches. I like it. Vocal harmony. And the riff leaves enough space for Ozzy's vocal. Let's break up the day. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Like I say, totally not Zach's writing style, but all that space. Let him Robert Trujillo do his thing. Fill it in with guitar. Again, just pay attention to the lines that he chooses to have a vocal harmony on. Yeah. It's Robert Trujillo on bass on this album, Paul. Metallica's bassist. Kind of cool guitar overdub there. Joe, you've made me so happy with that comment. Not the best solo, but I do like this song. Low harmony on it. Let's go. Yes, wake up the dead. Oh, yeah. That low vocal harmony, that's kind of cool. That vocal harmony sounds like it's Ozzy's vocal, but pitch shifted. Sure, Ozzy's a little bit older in this. He's in his early 50s. But yeah, when I was young, right, I remember listening to this album going, oh, it's just Ozzy when he's an old man. It's not cool. But little, if you told me then that Ozzy was going to be releasing albums into his 70s, right? Whew, this is young Ozzy still. Okay, so now we've got one of the ballads. Oh, Zach, yeah, he certainly had some like the flat five thing he did a lot at this during this period. Woo! Now, of course, these are the Ozzy songs that I don't like, and my criticism of Bark at the Moon, the album, it has too many of these on it, too many Ozzy ballads. I remember there's an overdub on this actually. Ah, ah. Not there. It comes in at some point. I think that's a sign of not necessarily a good thing on a song, right? But I've not listened to this album in 10 years, but I still absolutely remember things like that about the arrangement. Really cool observation, Richard. Very Bob Daisley. Ready for it? Why is it not there? I know it happens. Yeah, the vocal harmony. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you there. I'm actually working on, if you look at my Spotify, an Ozzy Osbourne best of playlist for like a summary video. And don't worry, there's no Ozzy ballads on that. We'll leave those to Bark at the Moon. Vida. And it's not there. Very strange. I'm just a dreamer. Ah, ah. I think for me, like the summary of why I don't like stuff like this is Ozzy didn't write it, you know? Ozzy's not a songwriter. Cool. So Ozzy works with songwriters. And I think there's a huge difference between, you know, like a Zakk Wylde written song or a Bob Daisley written song or a Randy Rhoads written song or a Jake E. Lee written song. These guys are rock musicians that wanted to write songs, write rock songs. Whereas with a song like Dreamer, it feels like someone's tried to write a hit song. And I don't like that. They've tried to write something that will sell. That's very Zakk Wylde. Never pulled this face listening to a Jake E. Lee album. And it blows your mind. Keyboard part is cool. It adds. Hello. It's been years since I've heard this. Kind of cool. Triplet crotchets. Da 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 da. There's just no easy way out. I like that keyboard part. It's John Sinclair on keyboards. Nice vocal harmony on it. Da, 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 da. Takes a lot of time to get your pinch harmonics to go woo. Hello? See, I'm seeing a lot of people saying there's an awesome riff on this song. This is cool. Those chords are nice. Da, 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 da. Nice vocal harmony. Ride as fast. Double tracked. That's exact tap bend release. That wasn't a bad solo. I quite like that. I'm trapped inside a bad dream. The crashing weights on my shoulder now. Drums aren't offensive like they are the Randy Castillo drum playing on the first two Zakk Wylde albums. Now. It's a pretty cool song. So That I Never Had is one of my favourite songs on the album. This one I definitely remember because this is on Budokan. That's a very Robert Trujillo bass thing. I'm used to hearing Zakk doing the backing vocal on that. So repeat riff, then chord change. Vocal harmony on that is. That's cool. Every word I say, every time I pray, look into my eyes. Zakk doing those live on Budokan is really funny. That harmony is so cool. Da 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 da. Don't want what I had. Should I think about tomorrow? Oh. Like the vocal harmony again, of course. Oh, Evan, you have to. Honestly, that is such a good DVD. This solo section is so cool. I wouldn't recommend listening to Budokan. I've never listened to it, but I've watched it. So if you can dig that one out on video, watch it. Can't you let me in? What's up with those weird guitar overdubs? It was panned left, then right, then on both. So I actually think Facing Hell and No Way Out were better. No, it's No Easy Way Out. On Budokan, there's a funny part with Zach's vocal there where he sings the the wrong backing vocal there, panics, and then walks away from the mic and plays the solo. He goes to sing I Want Something, but Easton. Okay. So I don't remember this song, but we'll see. I remember the song. This is what we like on Ozzy albums, isn't it? Seventh chords. And then it goes into Junkie, which is I like this song. I do like this song. Again, this is on Budokan. Coming down badly, you're crippled inside. A rat in your sewer with no place to hide. You're the junkie. You're the junkie. Oh, there's a ton of Beatles in his melodies, yeah. Ozzy's never tried to hide the fact that that's, his influence. A needle to stick in your vein. Vocal harmony, very cool. Buy a cheap ticket to take a short ride. That beautiful flower. Yep. Thank you, Jack. Unless you're my actual brother, in which case, go away. Sound like the bass played a wrong note there. Your name is nothing, you don't know the score. Body is aching, you still crave for more. Another cool guitar solo, right? Very cool solo. Some tremolo picking in it, if memory serves me right, yeah. There's those atonal things. No music theory is important. You're chasing the high. All that of spirit, a dead man alive. How's it going, Robert? As you can see, we're 2/3 of the way through Junkie. Oh man, Robert, you've missed out. Guys, back me up. There are some good songs on this album. Facing Hell is a good song. No Easy Way Out is a good song. That I Never Had is a good song. Junkie's good. Fuck off that Zakk Wylde didn't write this riff. Listen to it. That's a Zakk Wylde riff. That's a Black Label Society riff. Come on. Cool vocal harmonies. Junkie! Junkie! My email address for years was genocidejunkie@hotmail.co.uk because I was a Black Label Society fan. There are some good songs on this record. So now we have to have another Ozzy wanting to be in the Beatles. Okay, so Tim likes this more than Osmosis. The reason I pointed that out, Robert, is because Zakk has no writing credits on this album. Apparently, he didn't write anything for this album. It was written while he was out of the band. I wouldn't wish this hell on you. Come on. This is Beatles. Oh, reason. I'm running out of time. Nice melody. Oh, Ozzy's talent is having sex with Sharon Osbourne, who then finds the talent to surround him with. I believe it, Robert, because when you listen to a lot of this album, the riffs, it's Zakk inspired, but they don't sound like Zakk riffs. That is a great chorus, Richard. Yeah, I agree. You seem to be on the wrong stream, Jack. Libra, can hear. What's that harmony? This is my mind. Bit high for me. This is the melody on the guitar that comes in and running out of time. Oh no, it is Zakk Wylde on guitar. He just didn't write it. That's some serious processing on the guitar there. I don't know if Joe Holmes actually has any writing credit. Let's have a look. Joe Holmes has writing credit on Junkie. And that I never had. Which are both good songs. How dare you, Tam? I mean, the beat was a special, but this is good. Wah da da. I think I agree with you on that, Tim. I think this album is full of good songs. And, you know, like Bark at the Moon isn't. So which one of these was a bonus track? There was a Japanese bonus track called No Place for Angels, which isn't on Spotify. That's always been the point with these albums, Paul, with these listening streams. You really listen to them. And sometimes that means you take an album like this and you go, wow, that was actually really good. And sometimes it means you take an album like Bark at the Moon and you go, that wasn't as good as I thought it was. Too. Very strange vocals and right at the end there. Okay, so great so far. Black Illusion. Don't tell me that's not a Zakk Wylde riff. I can't believe you've given in that easily, Joe. This is so Zakk Wylde. Come on. Lovely vocal harmonies. What is that? That's ripped from something. That's the Mission Impossible theme, isn't it? Thank you for tuning in, Music Man. It's funny you say that, Paul, because Jerry Cantrell played guitar on the next Ozzy album, Undercover, which we forget about. We forget that album existed because it's a covers album. I'd love to see more interviews with Joe Holmes because obviously, like, he came in and filled Zach's shoes after Zach recorded Osmosis, so he toured and had to be Zach Wilde, and then he clearly started writing songs of Ozzy, and he just didn't seem that he had anything of his own that he wanted to bring to the table, and he tried to sound like Zach. Whoever noticed that Zach Wilde does so many taps and bends? So going back to Tim Jenkins' comment where he says this is the last good Ozzy album, I think I agree with you, but I'm really looking forward to listening to Black Rain, and I'm really looking forward to listening to Scream to see if I've changed my mind. What I can tell you is that Black Rain has a song in it called The Almighty Dollar, right? And that is a good song. Stop with your Mission Impossible theme. I don't mind Scream. I listen to Scream quite a lot because I had to interview Gus G, so I really want to be really familiar with the album. That sounds like a Black Label Society riff to me. What are you shocked about now, Joe? I've been listening to Sonic Brew, the Black Label Society album, in my car, and man, that is such a good record. I feel like we kind of have that same Ozzy album problem, which is the album's a bit stacked towards the first part of the album. I feel you've got like 7 or 8 good songs, and then they get a little bit weaker, but if you go back to when Scream was released, the rumor was that Dario Lorina was going to get that gig, and you'll definitely probably be able to find me on social media raging that Dario Lorina didn't get that gig, because although I like Gus, great player. Oh, I agree with you, Robert. That's their best album, yeah. Although Gus is a great player, Ozzy has a history of picking out unknowns and launching their careers, and Gus didn't need that. Dario Lorina, on the other hand, could have been picked out of obscurity and thrust into, superstardom. Funnily, everyone's like, Dario Lorina, who's that? He was a nobody at the time. He's Black Label Society's rhythm guitarist now. I mean, I could absolutely do that, Richard. I'd love that. I can already tell you that The Blessed Hayride is their best album and 1919 Eternal is their worst. Just because of the production. It'd probably be The Blessed Hayride, Sonic Brew, Stronger Than Death. Order of the Black, Mafia, 1919 Eternal, Hangover music. I'm not sure where Grimmest Hits fits. I don't know, Pete. I like Nevermore, yeah. Not crazy on this song. I don't hate Mafia. There are some good songs on it, listening back. But it's clearly, that was their first album on, what they on? Artemis Records. There. It sounds like they were trying to make an album that would be a hit. I fucking love the Pride and Glory album. If I had to factor that into the list of Black Label albums, that would probably be third best. And then I remember it's got some great songs in it, like Troubled Wine. Like, I can listen to that anytime. Machine Gun Man. I really do love that record, actually. I Hate Your Guts. I'm not crazy on this song. Not crazy on that. In that. Okay, final track. Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Has he got an auto wire on that guitar there? Sonic Brew still has a lot of that. You have to remember Spoke in the Wheelers on that album, and that could have been a Pride and Glory song. That should have been a Pride and Glory song. That's like an Allman Brothers song. Okay, I remember this. Farm fiddling, yeah. Is that not on Pride and Glory? Oh, okay, it's on the rarities. I cannot emphasize how much of a Zakk Wylde fan I was growing up. Meeting and interviewing Zakk was one of the few real fanboy moments I had in my life. Yeah, he's a very different player on those first two Ozzy albums. I respect the fact that he's steered into his thing and, just exaggerated it. All that love for our channels, Tim, and yet still no collaboration. I'm just going to spend my life trying to mooch off the success of bigger channels. And the voices in my head. Goes up. I won't be happy till I'm dead. Hear them. Are the voices in my head. And you hear them. I won't be happy till I'm dead. And there we go. That is the end of Down to Earth. Right. Let me bring myself up. Okay. What do we think? Honestly, I have to say it's a good album. It is a good album. There's some good songs on there. It's definitely at the end of kind of Ozzy's, like when he's capable of doing his thing. I think you listen to Ordinary Man, it's a mess. But honestly, I do think it's a good album. And as I say, for me, when I'm trying to work out how good this album is compared to the other albums, what I have to do in my mind is there's two things. How many of these songs would I take off of this album and put onto a best of CD? That's one. And for this, there's a few songs I definitely take off this and I will put on the Ozzy playlist. But the other thing is the consistency of the theme for the album. Blizzard of Oz is a great album. It really is a great album. But thematically, it's all over the place. I keep saying there's the neoclassical moments, there's the blues rock moments, there's the classic rock, there's the pop. Even Goodbye to Romance is very jazzy. This album is consistent from start to finish. It really feels like an album, like a listening experience where you can just put it on from start to finish and you feel like you're part of something. And I respect that. I do respect that. I have to give credit where credit is due for that. There are other Ozzy albums where that theme to me just isn't there. It just isn't there, okay? I'd say that with The Ultimate Sin. Like, a lot of people have been saying that they like The Ultimate Sin, but for me, it's just thematically, it's a bit all over the place. It's trying to be an 80s hair metal album. It's also trying to be quite political at times. Some of the songs are fun, but others are like really doom and gloom. Like, it doesn't gel that well. This really gels for me, and I have to give it the credit and the respect for that. I don't like it as much as Osmosis. I don't like it as much as Diary of a Madman. I don't like it as much as No More Tears. I don't like it as much as Blizzard of Oz. I'm really thinking here. I'm really thinking here. I think I might like this album more than No Rest for the Wicked. I actually think I might like this album more than No Rest for the Wicked. But that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. If I don't, then I certainly like it more than both of the Jakey Lee albums. But honestly, I do think I like it more than No Rest for the Wicked. Let me just look at No Rest for the Wicked again. Miracle Man, great tune. Yeah, honestly, I think I have to say I like this album more than I like No Rest for the Wicked, which surprises me. And it's probably mainly because of that consistency of theme. As I say, Osmosis is one of my favourite Ozzy albums. Absolutely love the Ozzy album, the Osmosis album. And the reason I love it is thematically, it fits. All of it works well, right? The guitar playing on the album's not great. The guitar playing on Osmosis isn't incredible. There's a few good moments, but there's certainly not. It's certainly not, the Ozzy album you go to if you want to listen to incredible guitar playing. But I think the songs on that album are excellent. I think the song Tomorrow is one of Ozzy's best songs ever. So hopefully you can see where I'm coming from when I say that Down to Earth is actually a very good album, because it does what you want, which is, it does what you want an Ozzy album to do, which is to be an Ozzy album. This is a song about Ozzy Osbourne. This album is about that man. that the image, the black around the eyes and the long black hair and the kind of haunting part of his voice, like the very scary, eating bats and things. And this album does that really, really well, really well. So it's upsetting people. But I definitely think this is better than No Rest for the Wicked. For me, I prefer this album over No Rest for the Wicked. Like I say, songs-wise, it's got Gets Me Through, which is a good song. Facing Hell is a great song. Dreamer is an acceptable song. No Easy Way Out is a very good song. That I Never Had is a good song. You Know isn't really a song. It's like a short interlude, it's a minute long. Junkie is a great song. Running Out of Time is actually a really good song too. And when I go to No Rest for the Wicked, I know, guys, I know it's hard to hear. You're listening. I know it's really hard to take off the nostalgia glasses, right? When I look at No Rest for the Wicked, don't get me wrong, Miracle Man is one of Ozzy's best songs, okay? Devil's Daughter is pretty good. Crazy Babies is a little bit cheesy. Breaking All the Rules is okay, I'll give it, it's a good song. Bloodbath in Paradise is a good song. Fire in the Sky, I don't like that song. Tattooed Dancer, I really don't like that song. Demon Alcohol, I hate that song. I thought I liked that song, but after listening to it with you guys on that stream, it's not aged well. Hero and The Liar we didn't really count as being No Rest for the Wicked songs. Honestly, I think this album's got more good songs on it than No Rest for the Wicked. I know that's going to drive some of you crazy, but anyway, let me read your comments. So, the only way I can rate Ozzy albums is by guitarists. So the Randy era, the Jake era, and the Zach and the Gus era. Okay, fair enough. Joe Clifford. Okay, free lesson learned from Levi tonight. Open your ears, lose the prejudice. I did enjoy some songs, so win there. Yeah, and if we go back to the first comment on this stream, it was from Joe saying, no, fuck no, it's formulaic cash in bullshit. Sorry, it's formulaic cash in bullshit. I'd say Ozzy's involvement was, yes, Sharon, I will sing this shit for you, and they auto-tuned the life out of it. And then he goes on to say, I am old enough to be a big fan back in the day and certainly old enough to be grumpy about this stuff. Levi, I like what you do. Keep it up. So of all of that, I'm most impressed that you changed your mind a little bit there. Most impressed that you changed your mind a little bit on that one, man. Yeah, so shocking. Tim Jenkins, No Rest for the Wicked and this album are neck and neck. Yeah. It's a tough one for me. Honestly, it's a tough one. But the more I think about it, and the more I've realised that it upsets people when I say that, the more I'm confident that I like this album more than No Rest for the Wicked. Thank you very much, Paul. Glad you enjoyed it. Feck, need to get lights on my new keyboard. Everyone needs lights on their keyboard. What I'm going to do now, just while I'm here, and while you guys put in your last comments, is I'm going to add the songs from this that I think should be on the best of that I keep talking about. So I'd probably not put That I Never Had on there. Would I? Certainly put Running Out of Time on there. The ranking, I'm going to write this down. So, Blue Note Chick says, fair points. Ozzy is odd for me. When I want to listen to an Ozzy album for killer guitar playing, I always go to The Ultimate Sin. Okay, that's interesting. Song-wise, I still have to go to Diary. Yeah. So the ranking for me currently is Diary of a Madman. That was a tough one to put that above. Oh, bastard. Osmosis. Why can I not put these in separate things? Why do I have to do that? Diary of a Madman, Osmosis, No More Tears, Blizzard, feels odd doing this. When I write it like that, it feels a bit silly. There should be 8 albums there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that is 8. That is 8. And when I look at them in that order, I could switch Diary and Osmosis. I could switch those round, and I could switch Down to Earth and No Rest. I could switch those round, and I'd be okay with those. So, tough. It is tough. It is tough. Thank you very much for tuning in, Joe. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So I will put that I never had on there. No, I won't. I currently have an Ozzy Osbourne best of playlist that is 2 hours and 43 minutes long. And I'm looking forward to putting that together for a YouTube video to talk to you guys about, well, for all the people that didn't want to watch every single one of these streams, I'm looking forward to doing a video talking about Ozzy Osbourne and what I've learned from doing these listening party streams. So, yeah. Any last comments, any questions, anything anyone wants to say? I want to say a huge thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. Honestly, guys, it means so much, especially with this whole coronavirus thing that seems to be taking over the world. A lot of people are struggling in my industry to make a living, to make ends meet. We've got families to feed and all of that shit, and gigs are being cancelled. Obviously, my gigs aren't being cancelled, but there is a knock-on effect whereby a lot of guys are suddenly moving into the Skype teaching arena, if you like, and trying to steal away some of my market there. I don't want to say steal away because I want them to have, I want everybody to be able to make a living. Transcriptions are a little bit thinner on the ground because people, are kind of struggling to pay money for products they don't know if they're going to be able to sell. So the fact that some guys are still supporting me over on Patreon, it really does mean a lot. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. If you don't want to support me on Patreon, that's absolutely fine. You can also check out one of my books. Just have a look for Levi Clay on Amazon. Grab one while Amazon is still shipping stuff, because who knows what's going to happen in a week or a month. Who knows? Right, let me answer these final questions. So, fair list, mine would be different, but looking at it from your perspective is interesting. I need to listen to all of these again in succession. Yeah, and I think that's the really interesting thing about this, Tim. Like, I'm not listing that as an objective, like these are the best Ozzy Osbourne albums. I'm just listing them in order of, like, let's say somebody came to me and said that I've never heard Ozzy Osbourne, where should I start? I'm going to say go to Diary of a Madman first. Then I'm going to send them to Osmosis. Then I'm going to send them to No Rest for the Wicked. Then I'm going to send them to Blizzard of Oz. And you know what? When I put it like that, I absolutely would send them to Down to Earth before I'd send them to No Rest for the Wicked. Absolutely would. No doubt in my mind. That's actually given me a lot of confidence to put it in that order. Then The Ultimate Sin, and then Bark at the Moon. So that it's more how I kind of rank them. But I'd love to hear, I actually do quite enjoy, some of you guys have been messaging me the order that you've been putting them in. Love to hear it. So let me know. It's really interesting to hear people have such dramatically different opinions to me on these. Some people tell me The Ultimate Sin is the best Ozzy album, and while I think they're insane, it's nice to know that there are people out there. There are some people out there like that. So yeah, we'll be compiling that playlist. Best of listening party, yeah. Have to go to work now. Thanks very much for tuning in, Blue Note Chick. Really appreciate your time. And yeah, I just answered that. Right, guys, anything else that you would like to ask me before I have to go into my house and paint the dining room? Before a plasterer shows up tomorrow to fix the dining room. What band are you going to do after Ozzy? I'm not entirely sure on that one. Art Out of Silence. I will probably pitch that to my Patreon supporters and see what they want first, because obviously they come first, because they are contributing to my staying alive during these troubled times. But there are certainly bands I would like to do. I would like to do Megadeth. I think that could be a lot of fun. I'd kind of like to do something like Racer X. That would be kind of cool. There's a lot of there's definitely a lot of things I'd like to do. We'll see where it goes. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Good night, Robert. Good night, King. Good night, Pete. Go listen to Bride and Glory. That is a good shout, Robert. I'm definitely going to do the same. That's a great shout. And yeah, awesome. Don't get high on paint fumes. I mean, it's a mist coat, so it's watered down paint. So yeah, it's not going to happen. But right. Good night.